श्रुति स्मृति पुराणाम् आलयं करुणालयं नमामि भगवत्पाद शङ्करं लोकशङ्करं यो नित्यम् अच्युतपदाम्बुज युग्मरुक्म व्यामोहतस्तदितराणि तृणाय मेने अस्मत् गुरोर्
भगवतोस्य दयेक सिन्धु रामानुज शरणं
रामानुजशरणं
शरणं
प्रपद्ये
प्रपद्ये रामानुजदया
रामानुजदयापात्रं
पात्रं
ज्ञानवैराग्यभूषणं
भूषितं
श्रीमद्वेङ्कटनाथार्यं
श्रीमद्वेङ्कटनाथार्यं
वन्दे वेदान्तदेशिकं
वेदान्तदेशिकं
श्रीकृष्ण चैतन्य
श्रीकृष्णचैतन्य प्रभो
प्रभुनित्यानन्द
नित्यानन्द
श्री
श्री
अद्वैत
अद्वैत
गदाधर
गदाधर श्री
श्रीवासादि गौरभक्तवृन्द हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम राम
राम
राम
राम
हरे
हरे
हरे।
हरे।
Okay, very good. Okay. Hmm. Satvik, can you sing Manda Manda Chalata?
यस माता जी।
Okay, sing.
1 मिनट माता जी।
हाँ.
मंद मंद चलत सुगंध पवना यमुना तट में प्यारी आनंद भरया निरत ज व्यास विहारी वृषभानु कुमारी व्यास विहारी वृषभानु कुमारी मंद मंद चलत सुगंध पवना
यमुना तट में प्यार
प्यारी मन्मथ मोहित महावैभव मन्मथ मोहित महावैभव माधव राधा गंधर्व परिणय माधव राधा गंधर्व परिणय संतो जनों का नित्य कुतूहल संतो जनों का नित्य कुतूहल अतुल रसमय भाव भक्तिमय अतुल रसमय भाव विभक्तिमय श्री राधे कृष्ण प्रिय राधे श्री राधे कृष्ण प्रिय राधे राधा प्रिय वर जय कृष्ण राधा प्रिय वर जय कृष्ण श्री राधे कृष्ण प्रिय राधे मंद मंद चलत सुगंध पवनाय मुना तट में प्यारी।
Okay, very good. Super. Abhignya, do you know Jay Jay Deva? Jay Jay Deva bhajan. Okay. And Jay Jay Deva is a small bhajan. Maybe I'll sing and you can repeat. Jaya Jaya Deva.
जय
Jaya
जय
Jaya
देवा
Deva. The other Satvik also you can repeat, Kanna. P Satvik. Just repeat. Jaya Jaya Deva.
जय
Jaya
जय देवा
Jaya Jagannatha.
जय जगन्नाथ
जय जय देवा जय जगन्नाथा
जय जय देवा जय जगन्नाथ
जल जलोचना
जल
जल
जलोचना
जलोचना जय जनार्दना
जय
जय
जनार्दना
जनार्दना देवकी बाला
देवकी
देवकी
बाला
बाला दीनवत्सला
दीनवत्सला
देवपालका
देवपालका
देवपालका दानवान्तका
दानवादका
दानवान्तका नन्दकुमारा
नन्दकुमारा
नन्दकुमारा नवनीतचोरा
नवनीत चोरा
चोरा नवनीतचोरा
नवनीत चोरा
नवनीतचोरा नीरदवर्णा
नीरदवर्णा
नीरदवर्णा निर्मलाकरा
निर्मलाक्षरा
निर्मलाकरा प्रणतरक्षका
प्रणतरक्षका
प्रणतरक्षका प्रेमिकार्चिता
प्रेमिका सीता
पद्मसम्भव
पद्मसंभवा
पद्मसम्भव प्रमुख पूजिता
प्रमुख
प्रमुख
पूजिता
पूजिता
जय जय देवा जय जगन्नाथा
जय
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 देवा
देवा
जय
जय
जगन्नाथ
जगन्नाथा
जल जलोचना जय जनार्दना
जल जलो
जलोचना जय
जय
जगन्नाथ
जनार्दना
जल जलोचना जय जनार्दना
जल जनोचना जय
जगन्नाथ जय
जनार्दना
जगन्नाथ
You have the lyrics right, Kanna Abhignya. Maybe you can get someone else's note, say Satvik's or Vaishnavi's, whoever, and they'll have all the lyrics of the bhajans that I have taught previously. You can just write it down or take a Xerox so that you can have that reference. Both
Oh,
Abhignya and Satvik. What happened to Vedansh?
ma'am, he went to play games, ma'am.
Oh, missing classes. Okay, okay. At least I think some students are attending very regularly. Kritika, Satvik, I think Gaurav was also earlier attending. Now he's not there. Vaishnavi, you. So whoever is attending regularly, please try to attend and don't miss classes. Okay, fine.
Okay,
Okay, we'll practice this thing. Ramaya Ramabhadraya. Okay, this class we'll practice. Next class onwards, you can start singing. Okay. रामाय रामभद्राय
Ramaya Ramabhadraya
भद्राय
रामचन्द्राय वेधसे
रामचन्द्राय वेदसे
रघुनाथाय नाथाय
रघुनाथाय नाथाय
सीतायाः पतये नमः
सीताय पतये नमः
सीतायाः पतये नमः
सीताय पतये नमः
श्रीराम राम रघुनन्दन राम राम
श्रीराम राम रघुनन्दन राम राम
श्रीराम राम भरताग्रज राम राम
श्रीराम राम भरत
Rama
राम
Rama
राम
भरताग्रज भरताग्रज
भरताग्रज
Bharata plus Agraja means the elder brother of Bharata. Bharatagraja Rama Rama.
Bharata
भरताग्रज
Praja
राम
Rama
राम
Rama
Shri Rama Rama Ranakarkasha Rama Rama.
श्रीराम राम
Shri
कनकश राम राम
Shri Rama Rama Ranakarkasha Rama Rama.
श्रीराम राम कनकश राम राम
Rama
Shri Rama Rama Sharanam Bhava Rama Rama.
श्रीराम राम शरणं भव राम
Rama
राम
Rama
श्रीरामचन्द्रचरणं मनसा स्मरामि
श्रीरामचन्द्र चरणं मनसा
Manasvarami
श्रीरामचन्द्रचरणं वचसा गृह्णामि
श्रीरामचन्द्र शरणो वच
Manasvarami
वचसा गृह्णामि
वचसाग्र
Vachesagranami
श्रीरामचन्द्रचरणं शिरसा नमामि
Shri
श्रीरामचन्द्र चरणं शिरस्वनामि
शिरसा नमामि
Shri
शिरसा नमामि
Shirasa means your head. Namami means you're bowing down. You're bowing your head down to what? To Rama's lotus feet. Shri Ramachandra Charanam Shirasa Namami.
श्रीरामचन्द्र चरणं शिरस्वनामि
Shri Ramachandra Charanam Sharanam Prapadye.
श्रीरामचन्द्र शरणं शरणं प्रपद्ये
What did I say in the last class? Sharanam means what is the meaning? What is the difference between Sharanam and Charanam? No one remembers? Huh? See, Sharanam means Sharanagati. You're surrendering yourself. Charanam means cha, which starts with cha, chair. Cha. Charanam means the lotus feet of Krishna, of Rama. So, Shri Ramachandra Charanam Sharanam Prapadhe. First Charanam in the last line, then Sharanam. Cha, then Sha. I am surrendering myself to the lotus feet of Rama. Shri Ramachandra Charanam Sharanam Prapadhe.
Sri Ramachandra Charanam Sharanam Prapadye.
Very good. Excellent. Correct. Shri Ramachandra Charanam Sharanam Prapadhe.
Sri Ramachandra Charanam Sharanam Prapadye.
Okay, very good. Let's close the bhajans here. Let's move to the story for today. So, what did we learn in the last class? Who was Jabali? Think people don't watch the recordings at all, looks like. You should go and watch the recording once at least. Then you'll remember the story. Who was Jabali? Jabali was a minister in Dashratha's court. What did he tell to Rama?
To stay.
Huh. Was he did was he a believer in God or not a believer?
He'll not believe the God.
He was a atheist. He was a Nastika. Right? So what else did we see in the last class? That Buddhism existed even in Rama's times. Does Buddhism believe in karma?
Yes.
No.
No, correct. No is the right answer. Does Buddhism believe in birth, rebirth?
No.
No, right? So it doesn't believe in karma, it doesn't believe in birth, rebirth, it doesn't believe in Bhagavan. It believes in a higher state than the physical form, and the aim of the people who follow the Buddhist religion is to attain that nirvana state. So, all due respect to other religions, Sanatana Dharma gives a complete philosophy on why we are born. See, if someone raises a question, a dharma should be able to answer it, right? So, if someone asks me that I'm born as a fat person, or a thin person, or a fair person, or a dark person, why? Why is someone born fair, whereas someone is born dark? Someone is born fat, whereas someone is born thin. You may say that it's because of the gene, right? Okay, if it's because of the gene, if it's because of the hereditary, then why are you born to your parents? Have you ever thought, why are you not born to, see, why is Satvik born to Satvik's parents, whereas Abhignya is born to Abhigna's parents? What if Satvik is born to Abhigna's parents and the opposite happens? Why you're born to your parents and there is no mix? See, that's if for such questions, right? I don't know if other religions will have an answer. But Sanatana Dharma is a complete philosophy which has answer for everything, which is your karma. So the way you're born, the family that you're born into, the kind of physique, the body you get. You're a fair person, dark person, fat person, thin person. The kind of physique you get, the kind of family you're born into. You're born to a rich family, middle class family, poor family, right? Everything is decided by your karma. And until this karma is completely emptied and you reach Bhagavan himself, Krishna's lotus feet, until then you go through this birth, rebirth cycle. Now, Rama is a person who adheres to Sanatana Dharma. Rama is a person who completely holds Sanatana Dharma. So, Rama says, what did Rama say? That it is Dashratha's mistake that he has hired a person like Jabali as his minister. Right? That is what we saw in the next class. Sorry, last class. Now, Bharata returns to Ayodhya with what does he return with? Rama says he won't come back. He'll come back only after 14 years. So what does Bharata do? He asks Rama for something. No, what does he ask for?
If we Rama not come in 14 years, he will
Tell.
he will burn our.
He will jump into the fire. He said that. But he carried one of Rama's possessions with him. What is that?
Footprints, ma'am.
Foot padukas. Rama's padukas in today's footwear, right? So Rama's padukas on the advice of Vashishta. Who is Vashishta?
The Kuluguru of
Dashratha and Rama. Very good. So on the advice of Vashishta, Bharata asks for Rama's paduka, and Rama gives his paduka. Bharata carries that on his head, with Shatrughna carrying the umbrella, right? And they go back to Ayodhya. And Bharata doesn't enter into the city of Ayodhya. I'll tell you why. Because Rama is going to spend 14 years in the forest, right? So he has to stay in the forest, make huts, live there, survive on fruits and whatever leaves he gets in the forest. He has to survive on that. Now, Bharata, if he comes back to the kingdom to Ayodhya, he will have to live a life like a king. Like he will be living a luxurious life because he's anyway a prince, right? Though he said that no, I don't want to be the king, he's still a prince. So he will lead a princely life. Bharata, being so devoted to Rama, being so devoted to his elder brother, his fatherly like brother, he decided that until Rama returns, I will not live any kind of luxurious life. Whereas I will live a very simple life similar to what Rama is living in the forest. So Bharata doesn't enter into the city of Ayodhya, rather, he stays at the outside. There's a village outside Ayodhya, a small village which is called as Nandigrama. So Bharata stays in that Nandigrama and he stays till there for the 14 years until Rama returns. And the Paduka Devi, the footwears of Rama that was given by Rama to Bharata, that footwear was kept on the throne of Ayodhya. So it is a resemblance that Rama is still the king, he will be ruling, and Bharata will be executing the tasks, executing the work, whatever is there, under the rule of Rama, under the instructions of Rama. To represent that, Rama's footwear, Rama's paduka was kept on the throne, right? And Bharata stayed outside the city, living a simple life, and he decided he'll live in Nandigrama, leading a simple life similar to what Rama is leading in the forest until his dear brother Rama returns. Now, okay. Rama is going inside the forest. So he was there in which place when Bharata came to meet him? Where was Rama?
yeah, Sarayu River.
No.
Ah,
Sarayu runs in Ayodhya.
Ah.
Rama went to the forest, no? Somewhere in the middle of the forest only Bharata and Bharata went running behind Rama, right? Where did they meet? Rama went, met Guha, then he went, took the blessings of Bharadwaja Maharishi, and then he went down to which place? Where he made a hut? Chitrakuta. Right. Chitrakuta is the place, I said this multiple times in previous classes. Chitrakuta is the place where Rama will be staying. At that time, Bharata will go and meet Rama. Bharata will get Rama's padukas, and now Bharata has returned to Ayodhya, basically to Nandigrama, which is outside Ayodhya city, with the padukas. So now, until Rama returns, the rule in Ayodhya kingdom will be the rule of Paduka Devi. So here, right, in the Ramayana, Paduka, the footwears of Rama is considered like a woman. Paduka Devi, it's considered like, right? So if you see, there is one shloka, one stotram called as Paduka Sahasram, which was written describing the Paduka Devi. What is that? The footwears of Rama. Can you imagine? So we say the Guru Shlokam, right? What do we say? यो नित्यम् अच्युत पदाम्बुज युग्म रुक्म व्यामोहत स्तदितराणि त्रिनायमेने अस्मत् गुरोर्भगवतोऽस्य दयैक सिन्धोः रामानुजस्य चरणौ शरणं प्रपत्ति. This is on Ramanujan. See, this is on Ramanujan. After this, we say one shlokam. What is that? Ramanuja Dayapatram Jnana Vairagya Bhushanam Srimad Venkatanatharyam Vande Vedanta Desikam. Who is this Vedanta Desika? The Acharya whose name is Vedanta Desika, who came in the Guru Parampara of Sri Ramanujar. He is the person who wrote this stotram called Paduka Sahasram, and the stotram entirely describes the qualities of Sri Paduka Devi, the importance of Sri Paduka Devi. Who is that? Nothing but Rama's footwear, right? So there was one story we discussed. Which is more powerful, Rama's Nama or Rama himself?
Rama Nama.
Rama Nama. What was the story?
One king was there. He was a bhakta of devotion.
Anjaneya Swami.
But when he was praying, when Rama was doing meditation, the king disturbed the Rama. Then Rama threw the arrow on him. Then the Anjaneya Swami can't leave his Swami or his devotee, and told the devotee, do the namasmana of the Rama. Then he devotee did, and the arrow disappeared by itself.
Correct. So shortly, what happens? There is a king whom Rama wanted to punish. But that king ran and came and did Sharanagati to Anjaneya Swami saying, Hey Anjaneya, please save me. Rama is coming behind me. Now Anjaneya Swami didn't know that Rama was the person who was chasing this king to punish him because he has done some bad deed. Now Anjaneya Swami said, just take Ramanama, that Ramanama will protect you. And when Rama launched his arrow on this king to punish him, the arrow didn't strike that king because he was chanting the Ramanama, and seeing that, the arrow went back because the arrow cannot, kill a person who is chanting Ramanama. So this is a small story from the, Kathas, which is an example to show you what is more powerful. Rama Nama is more powerful than Rama himself, right? Similarly, Krishna Nama is more powerful than Krishna himself. So when we start Mahabharatam, right? After Ramayana, we'll start Mahabharatam. In that, the story will come. When Draupadi is suffering. So Draupadi was humiliated by a lot of people in her own family, the Kauravas. So when she was humiliated, to protect herself, did Krishna himself come? No. She just took his name. She said Govinda. And when she said Govinda, the saris came flying and it protected her Maryada, right? So his namam is enough to protect you. So similarly, right? Similar to that, Paduka Devi has more importance, more value than Rama himself, because it is Paduka Devi is the footwear that is owned by Rama. So she is the one who stays close to Rama's feet, right? So similar to that, Sri Vedanta Desika Swami has written one entire stotram on this Paduka. Just imagine, will you write a poem on the slippers that you wear? No, right? But see, Rama's Paduka has such a value. Rama's lotus feet has such a value that the Vedanta Desika Swami has written an entire stotram on it. So this Paduka Devi was the person who was ruling Ayodhya kingdom until Rama returned back from exile from the forest. after 14 years, right? Now Rama is proceeding further into the forest, right? He goes down to from Uttar Pradesh to Madhya Pradesh, then to Maharashtra. So when he's going further into the forest, he comes across a lot of ashramas of rishis and saints who are meditating, performing yajnas, right? These people stay in the forest generally because generally these days we don't find forest in our country. Very less are there. That is also made as sanctuaries, reserved forest and all that. So we people can't enter without permission. But in those days, people stayed in the forest. They did their tasks of doing yajnam or whatever their nitya karmas they used to do. So Rama met a lot of rishis, a lot of ashramas, and when Rama observed, all these rishis were very malnourished. Do you understand what is the meaning of malnourished? As if how will a person look like if the person has not eaten for 10 days or 20 days? Like very thin, not healthy, all eyes are dark, not able to speak effectively, walk effectively, very malnourished, very weak. So, whomever these rishis, whichever rishi Rama met, whichever ashram he went to, he found that all these rishis and all these sages were very unhealthy, malnourished, and very weak. And Rama ended up asking them, why are you people, see, you people are brahmanas, you people do the yajnams daily, you people do karmas daily, you chant vedam every day. What has happened that you people have become so unhealthy? Why are you so weak? What has happened to you? Rama asks. And these rishis say that there are a lot of rakshasas who wander around these forest areas. So rakshasas like Kara, Bhushana, and Trishiras, all these are their names. These are all half brothers of Ravana. So in the next class, we'll see who was Ravana, how was he born, in which family he was born, how did he become the king of Lanka. All that we'll see in the next class, right? Some surprise element. You can read and come if you want. So who is this Ravana? How was he born? To whom was he born? He was a Brahmana by birth. Then he went and seized his half brother's kingdom. He became Lankadipati. How he became Lankadipati, who are his half brothers, who were other Rakshasas and Rakshasis. All this we'll see in the next class. But these, so many Rakshasas were there, like Kara, Dushna, Trishiras, Virada, all these people were there. These people stayed in the forests and these people kept on troubling the rishis and saints and all these sages, all these saintly people. They kept troubling them. They'll not if they collect food for themselves, they'll update the food and they'll leave. They'll not allow them to perform yajnas. They'll not allow them to peacefully sit and chant vedam. See, they'll keep disturbing them. They'll not allow them to eat. So because these rakshasas committed such bad activities, such harmful things, right? These sages were very unhealthy because they were not able to do their nitya karma. They were not able to live their normal daily life, right? Now all these rishis and the uh, say sages, right? They surrendered themselves to Rama. They did sharanagati to Rama. Why did they do? Because, see, when you are a person who is in bhakti, right? Who is in bhakti yoga, who is in karma yoga, when Paramatma is in front of you, you can recognize that he is Paramatma, right? So these people, they had their that ability to understand that Rama is nothing but Bhagavan himself. Rama is no one but Paramatma himself. So when Rama was in front of them, they did sharanagati. They just surrendered themselves to him, falling at Rama's feet and Sita's feet, saying, hey Rama, save us from these rakshasas for troubling us every day and not letting us live our life normally. So now Rama said to them, I understand that it is the responsibility of a Kshatriya, of a king, to protect his people. But currently, I am not the king of Ayodhya. I am myself in the forest, right? So I don't hold the post currently. So why are you surrendering to me? Rama asks. the rishis say that, see, even though you are in a different place, a mother is always a mother, right? For example, one day you go to a visit to your mother's office or your father's office, right? Your father is very busy working, your mother is very busy working, but still you're hungry and you want to get some food. Does she or does he take you to the canteen and get some food or not? They do, right? If you fall down suddenly in the office and they have to take you to the first aid center, they take you or not? They do. Because irrespective of the place, whether it's their office, because in the office their duty is to do office work, but still when you are there, it's their responsibility to take care of you because they are your parent, they're your mother or father. So though they are in office, though they have office work, the moment something happens to you, right, their all attention is for you, right? Because it's their responsibility, it's their love for you. So similarly, it's the responsibility of a king or a, see, for example, in today's date, for chief minister or prime minister, whoever is a kshatriya, whoever takes the responsibility of people's lives, it's his or her responsibility to protect the people, to ensure that the people are living peacefully and happily. So what happens? Rama says, okay, fine, I'll take care of these rakshasas, I will punish them so that they no more come and trouble you. Saying this and giving the promise to all these rishis and sages, Rama proceeds. And Rama reaches somewhere near Nagpur, right? In the place of Maharashtra. See, he has traveled south from UP to MP to Maharashtra. And then he encounters a Rakshasa for the first time in the forest. See, he has just now entered the forest, just now promised the rishis and sages that whoever Rakshasa I encounter, I will punish them, kill them, so that they no more come and trouble you. So he has promised the rishis, and now he's walking further into the forest, and he meets a Rakshasa. This Rakshasa's name is Virada. We are aware of the name Radha, right? Radha Rani is Krishna's better half. So this Rakshasa's name is Virada. What is the meaning of name Radha?
Krishna himself.
What else? Radha itself means love. So when you are a bhakta, when you have a lot of devotion, your bhakti or love for Krishna is nothing but representation of Radha. Radha itself means love. So a bhakta's love for Krishna is nothing but Radha. If you add V in the front, a prefix is added. Virada. What is Virada? A person without love. A person who doesn't even know the definition of love, right? Exact opposite is called Virada. So, this Virada was a Rakshasa. Now, once this Rakshasa comes across these three people look very different. Because generally, he has seen rishis and sages in the forest who are very malnourished, unhealthy, and all that. These people are in the dress of, they are wearing kavi dress, right? They are wearing dress of the rishis and sages, but they are nice hatta katta, means nice. They have biceps, very strong, and all that. Because Rama and Lakshmana are kshatriyas, they are war eaters. Obviously, they'll be like that, no? No, now this Virada is very confused. How come these people are wearing dresses like sages and rishis, but how come they are look so strong and big and very powerful? And then he looks at Sita. Sita was what was Sita wearing? Sita was in a royal dress, or was she in a sagely dress too?
Sage did sage. Sure, Sage
Uh,
does do.
no, I told you the story, right? When Rama, Lakshmana, and Sita they leave to the forest, Rama and Lakshmana wear the sagely dress. But Dashrata says, my daughter-in-law will not go in such a dress. So the condition Kaikeyi's condition that Rama has to go 14 years to the forest and live a life that is not luxurious, right? That condition is only for Rama. Sita is going with Rama by her own will. So Sita need not wear such sagely kavi dresses. That's what Dashratha says. So Dashratha, the father-in-law of Sita, says, my daughter-in-law will not wear such a dress. So he orders Lakshmana that Lakshmana, my daughter-in-law should never repeat a sari when she is in the forest for 14 years. Carries so many dresses and jewels of hers. So Sita is still in the royal dress with all the jewels. Right? So this Virada is very confused. There is a lady walking by who's so beautiful. Imagine how Jagannatha will be. Obviously, she'll be gracious, no? That too, she's shining in the royal dress amidst the forest, right? All the pattu dress, silk dress she's in, silk sari she's in, and the jewels. And Jagannatha, naturally, she's so gracious. And there are two sagely men who are like nice, powerful with biceps and all. Well, these days, how you call it, six packs and all that, very powerful. They are walking. So this Virada is very confused. What combination is this? Why are these sages walking with this princess-like lady? But he falls for the beauty of Sita. Sita is extremely beautiful, right? Now what he does, he quickly comes and he kidnaps Sita and he runs away. Now he has kidnapped Sita just in the front of Rama and Lakshmana. Right? In the front of Rama and Lakshmana, he just grabs Sita and he's running. And now Rama and Lakshmana are running behind this Virada because he has taken Sita. Now Rama is very, feels very sad. Rama says, oh my God, what has happened? So Rama at this moment says, I was very sad when I was asked to leave my family and my kingdom for 14 years. I was also very sad when I heard from Bharata that my father Dashratha has passed away. He is no more. But now Sita has been kidnapped by this Rakshasa. This makes me more sad than those both incidents. Right? This shows how much Rama loved Sita, how much Bhagavan loved his better half, the Paramatma. So that's why they are the Purusha and Prakriti Tattva, right? You can never separate them from each other. Like they are always if one is there and the other is not there, it's always incomplete, right? So Rama says, I was very sad when I was asked to leave my kingdom for 14 years. I was very sad when my father Dashratha passed away. But this makes me more sad because my Ardhangini, my Patni, Sita has been abducted by a Rakshasa. So sad Rama was. But still Rama and Lakshmana are chasing this Rakshasa Virada who has kidnapped Sita. Now suddenly these Rakshasas and all, right, their mind is generally not stable. They'll keep on doing random things. That's what Maya is, right? See, for example, if you go to a bakery, you see a cupcake. Your mind will tell, today I'm dieting, I should not eat it. But still, that cupcake looks very lovely. What do? You end up buying it and grabbing it. You eat it up. Though you don't want to eat it, though you know that it's sugar, it's calories, and you want to restrict that, it's still Maya, right? Maya Devi is very powerful. She attracts you towards those things which you restrict yourself from, right? You want to do bhakti, you want to take Krishna's name. So you say that, okay, I'll not watch these movies today. Instead, I'll sit down, I'll do mala, I'll take Krishna's name. But Maya Devi, does she leave you? You still go and watch the movie, end up watching instead of doing the Nama Japa or doing your homework. So Maya Devi is very attractive. And when there is someone like a Rakshasa who has no guidance, who has no guru, or who doesn't understand the value of Bhagavan or Bhakti, right? Maya, it's very easy for Maya Devi to influence them. So their mind is not stable, it keeps changing. Randomly, it keeps changing. So what this Virada does, suddenly he has kidnapped Sita and he's running forward. Rama and Lakshmana are running behind him. Now what he does, he drops Sita. Instead, he grabs Lakshmana and Rama and he runs. He leaves Sita, he kidnaps Rama and Lakshmana with both his hands He's huge, no? He's a Rakshasa. And he runs. See, what a fool he is, right? I don't know what he must have thought. No one knows. For a moment, he left Sita, he grabbed Rama and Lakshmana, and he started running, right? That's the mistake he makes. See, when Maya attracts you, if you fall for Maya, you're gone. Will Rama and Lakshmana leave him? So Rama and Lakshmana took their arrows and their swords and they chopped off the hands of this Virada. And this Virada was dead. So this is how Virada was killed by Rama and Lakshmana. This Rakshasa was killed. See, he kidnapped Sita first. He was running. Suddenly, Maya, right? Your mind suddenly changes. See, you are sitting in the exam. First, you tick the correct answer. Then your mind will be like, oh, maybe this is not the right answer. That one is the right answer. And then you erase it and you tick some other answer. The answer that you would have ticked earlier, no, first that would be correct. And the second, whatever you tick, that will be wrong. Correct? Huh? So that's how Maya works. Karma. We can't do anything. Similarly, he went mad. He dropped Sita. He grabbed Rama and Lakshmana and he started running. And Rama and Lakshmana, they are warriors. They took out their swords, their dharusha, and they chopped off his hands and they killed Virada. So this is how the Rakshasa Virada was killed. And Virada reached moksha because, see, whether you are a Rakshasa or Bhakta, when you when you encounter Bhagavan, you get moksha. Only the way you are encountering him is different. For example, when Krishna was there in Vrindavan, there were so many gopis who ate with him, who danced with him, who went to herd the cows with him, right? And what happened to Kansa? Kansa was killed by Krishna. But both of them reached moksha. Both of them reached Golokam. Both of them had a place in his lotus feet. It's just that Kansa reached Krishna through the bhayam, the bhavam of bhayam, fear. He feared that Krishna might come, he might kill me. Krishna might come, he might kill me. Every day he used to think of Krishna. But how he used to think of Krishna? In fear. So, gopis also always thought of Krishna, but in love. So it is just that the route is different, but ultimately you reach him. The moment you encounter him, you get moksha, right? So though Shishupala, will come to that story later in Mahabharata, all the stories will come. So Shishupala was also a terrible bad guy who comes in Mahabharata who was killed by Krishna's Sudarshana Chakra. He talked nonsense about Draupadi, so Krishna took his Sudarshana and his chakra killed Shishupala, right? So Shishupala gets the Sudarshana Chakra, but Gopikas get the lovely music that Krishna plays. So your bhavam decides how Bhagavan treats you, how Bhagavan approaches you. But once you encounter him, you get moksha. Shishupala also got moksha. Gopikas also got moksha. But just the way is different. And what decides the way? It's decided based upon your bhavam towards him. Right? So, yeah, so this is how the Rakshasa Virada was killed. And because he was killed by Rama, Bhagavan himself, he reached moksha. Now, okay, so we'll end the class here. So these are the stories. So there are 7 sections of Ramayana, right? So Balakandam, then we have the Ayodhya Kandam. Now there is the Aranya Kandam. Balakandam is when Rama is a small boy. We saw all those stories how Rama was born, right? And then we have how Rama was taken by Vishwamitra to kill 2 Rakshasas. Who were those 2 Rakshasas?
It's Kansa and
Aye. Tataka's, who were Tataka's 2 sons? I have told you. Okay. Find it out. I have told you in previous classes. So Vishwamitra takes Rama and Lakshmana with them. Oh, sorry, with him. And then he gets married to Sita, Urmila. All these things happens. So this is all Balakandam. Then we have the Ayodhya Kandam where Kaikeyi asks for the boon and they have to, Rama accepts that he leaves to the forest. Now we have started the next section, which is called as Aranya Kandam, wherein Aranya means forest. Aranya means forest. So this is the story that on what happens when Rama is traveling through the forest. So Rama is now in the forest for 14 long years. So he'll visit a lot of ashramas, he'll meet a lot of rishis, kill a lot of rakshasas. So who are all the rishis that Ramas meet? Who are all the rakshasas that Rama kills? We'll see all that. So who is the first countdown? Virada.
Virada.
Virada is the first rakshasa Rama has killed in the Aranya Kandam when he has entered 14 years of exile, right? In that, Virada is the first rakshasa. Who was the first Rakshasi Rama killed?
Tataka.
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 Tataka. Tataka had two sons. One was killed by Rama, the other ran away, fled.
Kamsa.
Okay. Go watch the recordings, get the names in the next class. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Mataji.
Hare Krishna Mataji.